Good morning, world.
Good morning out there.
So, today we're going to start this episode with a reading that Cedric did. Very serious.
Would you like them here or there? I would not like them here or there. I would not like them anywhere. I do not like collard greens and yams. I do not like them, Cedric I am. Would you like them in my car trunk? Would you like them while listening to some crunk? I do not like them in your car trunk. I do not like them while listening to crunk. Not in MacArthur Park? Absolutely, positively, not in the dark. I do not like collard greens and yams. Okay, it's enough. It's enough. Let's stop this nonsense.
That was very clever, but you're no Dr. Seuss.
I know, and the in the air of Dr. Seuss, this stuff it makes me itch, and I said this is just some bull stuff.
Yeah. So, you see what we're doing today? We know it's in the news. We're going to give you our review.
I'm Cedric.
And I'm Brian, and this is Cedric and Brian.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to, I'm sure this is old news to some of you, but Brian and I are going to touch on Dr. Seuss. And as you know, his birthday was celebrated on March 2nd, but it also coincides with Read Across America Day. And for those of you who are a little bit older, you probably saw, you probably went to your child's classroom and you donned that big stovepipe hat with the red and blue, the red and white stripes around it.
You mean the racist hat?
No, not the racist hat, it's the Dr. Seuss hat. And actually my mom does that. My mom is a part of Rotary in Palm Springs, and she looked forward to that day when she would go into elementary schools and she would take out a Dr. Seuss book and she would read it to the kids. But for some reason, it seems that Dr. Seuss has now, he's part of the cancel culture. Dr. Seuss is being canceled.
I know. Well, no, only 6 books so
Only
far.
6 books.
You know, that's the big takeaway with the media. They say, oh, he's got, 30-something other books or whatever it is. It's like, well, okay. We were going to touch on this real quick. They took To Kill a Mockingbird off, and Cedric was actually in that play. What makes me sad, and the reason why I wanted to do this, it's in the news, but the liberals of the day were the ones that were against this book banning,
right?
This book burning. So in the past, it was called book burning because we didn't have digital media, so they would actually go and they would burn books. Hitler did this. The Nazis did this. They went and burned books. So for somebody on the left or the media to say, oh, it's only a few books.
That's where it starts.
Huckleberry Finn, right?
Huckleberry Finn, Tom Sawyer.
Yeah, only his most famous book has been canceled. So I know this isn't The Cat in the Hat, but we're going to discuss later that The Cat in the Hat is probably next, and we'll show you why.
I remember very distinctly a conversation between my parents and some friends who were all shocked that a nation like the Germans, an educated, highly intelligent nation, would burn books. Books never hurt anybody.
Yeah, we got to stop this eventually. Like Brian said, I was in community theater several years ago, and I played the role of Tom Robinson in that classic novel, To Kill a Mockingbird. And now that's being thrown out because
it makes people feel uncomfortable. I mean, here's the tweet or the thing I got on Facebook, and you can see the line right under it. It's supposed to make people uncomfortable. That's what art does. That's part of what art does. It makes you have to reflect and say, was this good or bad? You don't take things away if it makes you feel uncomfortable. You discuss it. So we're going to show you some pictures. So here's this, what he called a Chinaman.
Right.
Okay, so it's depicting an Asian person with chopsticks and the hat. You got to remember that in the time, this was written back in the early 20th century.
Yeah.
That the depictions were there. Why is that? Why can't we discuss that and say, okay, maybe this was insensitive back in the day, but remember, this is back in the day. But look at this. I grew up watching this. This is Speed Racer.
Oh, great show.
Great
cartoon.
And then this is anime. This is today. These are Japanese artists depicting Caucasians. Mm-hmm. I had friends that I played football with that used to call me, they were Korean, and they would call me Round Eye or Big Nose.
Right.
All right? So Did I go and tell the principal? No, I laughed. I laughed at it. The anime characters are caricatures, big eyes, that are supposed to be Westerners. Back in the day, Dr. Seuss put lines for eyes to represent Asians.
Right.
It's a caricature of facial features.
Yeah. What's sad about this is that Dr. Seuss, if you know who he was and what he was all about, the main purpose of the book was to appeal to children and show that we're all the same, that we're not different. And yeah, sometimes he took a little liberty with the caricatures. But how many of you have gone to a fair where you and your significant other, and you stopped up at the booth where they drew a caricature of you, and me being a black man, the lips were made a little bit bigger, the nose was a little bit broader.
Well, let's take a look. These are famous people. There's LeBron James. It's a caricature. Hasn't been canceled. There's Larry Bird, a white person. Look at the size of that nose.
Yeah, look at that beak on the
They're
bird.
caricatures. And look at Magic Johnson here. It's all teeth.
Yeah.
They're caricatures. Are these now going to be stripped off of the brochures?
I think it
they're
depends
on
who drew them, actually.
It's just silly. So that there's a number of books. And do you have the list of books?
Yeah, I do. And to think that I saw it on Mulberry Street.
That was his very first book too, right?
That was one of two.
Yeah.
Yep. If I Ran the Zoo, McElligot's Pool, On Beyond Zebra, Scrambled Egg Super, and The Cat's Quizzer.
And we couldn't get a hold of all of them, and now I hear that some of them are going upwards of $1,000 per copy.
Get on Amazon and order those books quickly.
Yeah, that's...
I had to go rent two at the library. I may just pay the late fee because they may be worth later on anyway. And
yeah. So which ones did you get done?
fee.
So the first one was the Mulberry Street one.
And to think that I saw it on Mulberry Street. Now, how many of you actually grew up reading this book yourselves or reading it to your children? And I'm not going to go through the entire book, but Dr. Seuss and the power of imagination. He thought like a kid, and he goes, how can I get kids to use their imagination to see beyond what's in front of them? And this is what this book is all about. A young boy who's going to school, and his dad said, make sure you're not looking down at the ground, make sure your eyes are up, your eyelids are up, so you can see everything around you. And it slowly builds from seeing something on the street to being pulled by a zebra, and then pulled by some stripe. And you know how Dr. Seuss made up all these weird characters. Mm-hmm. But the reason it's being pulled is because toward the end of the book, and basically you have this parade going down the street with giraffes and streamers and banners. And he says, and I see a Chinese boy who eats with sticks. And Brian can put a picture up there behind me.
Oh yeah, that's the one that I put up earlier.
Yeah. And it's basically a Chinese kid, and he has chopsticks and he's eating rice. Now there is nothing about, and I'm just speaking for myself, there's nothing about this picture that would cause me to be racist toward Chinese people. And I don't know how many Chinese people saw that and said, I'm offended by that. It's silly.
It's silly. And then the only other book that we could get our hands on that was on this banned book list was On Beyond Zebra.
On Beyond Zebra. And again, this speaks to Dr. Seuss's ability to imagine and go beyond what's in front of you. He took the letters of the alphabet through Z, and he goes, no. Maybe the alphabet doesn't end with Z. Maybe it goes beyond that. And he started fabricating all these made-up words and letters. And this letter here is called and Spazz. At first I thought that's why they're taking it out, because it's called someone a spaz. It's kind of an insult. But that's my daughter's name is Jasmine, and that was my nickname for her when she was a child. I used to call her Spazzy Jazzy. But I'll read this really quick. It says, and Spazz is a letter I use to spell spasm. A beast who belongs to the Nazim of Basm. These words make no sense. That was the beauty of Dr. Seuss. Handy for traveling, that's why he has an M. More easy to pack than a suitcase or grip. These horns carry all he needs on a trip, a thread and a needle for mending his socks, his toothbrush, a cup, and 2 three-handed clocks, and his velvet umbrella, his vegetable chopper, and also his gold-plated popping corn popper, and a grasshopper cage with his favorite grasshopper.
Why is this one banned?
There's a picture of a man. He could be a white person, but he's depicted as a Chinaman.
I would have thought Italian or something like that.
I know, but people looked at that, and they must have had a group of people that went through these books and kind of scrubbed them, so to speak, and said, well, we can't have this one in there because this man right here depicts a Chinaman.
I don't see a Chinaman in that at all.
What's even worse, this is a camel. Does that look like a camel? Or just some weird creature that Dr. Seuss created?
So maybe they're saying not Chinaman, maybe they're saying like Middle Easterner, and there's nothing offensive about this character at all. If you... Anybody on the left or liberals that look at this and tell me...
It's It's getting done. It's so done. I wanted to read that article, if you permit me, that came from, because a lot of people say, well, you guys get articles from the right. And I wanted to read this really quick from someone on the left, who depicts how we look at this.
Oh yeah, this is just, you can't win because they'll always have an argument for something.
Right. And this is from The Root, and it says, the headline says, Dr. Seuss estate pulls 6 books from circulation due to racist imagery. Conservatives predictably throw a temper tantrum over cancel culture. So let me scroll down here really quick. It goes on here saying The Root, and I skipped a lot here. It says, if for some strange reason you felt like turning on Fox News or Newsmax this morning, you will find that in the conservative landscape, the hunting of 6 middle Dr. Seuss books was a strike at the very fabric of this nation's soul. So this is getting rid of these, banning these 6 books was just a strike at our nation's soul. And
they're basically saying that we're overreacting, which is, where does it stop? When do we stop reacting?
Yeah.
You know, when are we supposed to start and stop? I mean, we're getting rid of To Kill a Mockingbird. Already got rid of Shakespeare in most English classes, so how do you teach English without Shakespeare? Yeah. Beyond me.
That's about it, I think.
Yeah, the gist of the article, and it's not just this route, it's actually, it was on CNN. They're saying, oh, don't the Republicans or Fox News have more important things to do than worry about only 6 books being taken out of publication by Dr. Seuss? It doesn't stop there. That's the problem. In fact, I'm going to show you one, probably the most, I would say probably the most popular, right?
Oh, yeah.
A Cat in the Hat. And Green Eggs and Ham, as you did your little parody on. So The Cat in the Hat, where's my copy of it? Where I put the thing?
Dictionary.
Oh, that's If I Ran the Circus. So The Cat in the Hat, there's a scene, actually I'll just put it up on here. So you can see those 2 pictures. They're saying that the Cat in the Hat is representing a stereotypical black person. Now, who has thought that the cat in The Cat in the Hat had a race whatsoever? It was a cat, right?
It's a cat.
It's a cat. But they're saying, oh, it's too close to this character that he drew of a black man walking in. And you can see the caricature of it. So he's got the big ears, but look at the little white guy in the thing. He's got big ears too. Dr. Seuss drew silly characters. There was nothing racist about it.
And if you look at the live stream movie version of it, that character was played by Mike Myers.
I know.
So, I mean...
He was culturally appropriating, apparently, now if we look back. But to go back to that, another thing that Cedric didn't point out, in one of his books that was banned, it showed the Africans in what were supposed to be like loincloths or feathers. Right. And they're saying that that's just a stereotypical African. And they had the ears and the features. Again, he does these features on every character. I found some of these pictures. You grew up looking at National Geographic. There's an actual African. You know what? In this culture, I don't even want to say it. It's a little boy. But if I say an African boy, people can say you can't say boy, right?
Go ahead and say it.
Kid. I'll say an African kid. How's that? Is that okay for the left? What's he wearing? He's not wearing a shirt, and he's just wearing like a little thing to cover his lower half.
Yeah.
I found plenty of National Geographics where they're completely naked. Mm-hmm. The women. Here's a picture of a woman. I'll blur out the chest. But look at the features. It's an African tribe that has these things in their lips that forces their lips to hang down this far. I've got a couple pictures of them. So if you drew that, which would be an actual depiction of a real tribe, you would be called insensitive.
Right.
Even though wouldn't even be a caricature. You could just draw the person. That's how sensitive we become. It's absolutely ridiculous. Yeah. Just like we pointed out with the caricatures of LeBron James and Magic Johnson. It's just, where does it stop? You know they're coming for the Cat in the Hat next because they're already hinting at it. Yeah. How many of you, we both grew up with the Cat in the Hat. Neither one of us thought anything racist about it. These leftists are teaching you how to be racist. That's what they're doing. This anti-racism is racism.
My parents read it to me. I read it to my kids. Hopefully my kids will read it to their kids. Nothing that's really sad is that Dr. Seuss Enterprise, they're supposed to be the group that protects Dr. Seuss's legacy.
And they caved in.
They just rolled over on him. And they said, okay, we'll take these books away. And I don't get it. I mean, they should have stood up and fight. Very similar to the people that took away Aunt Jemima and Uncle Ben and the Land O'Lakes. But you never see anything being taken away from Wendy's or Ronald McDonald or...
Yeah, they're letting all the white characters stay out
all the white
there.
characters are staying. But everything that has history with POCs
So all you
is being taken.
All you woke white people, all you people that think you're helping the cause, you're just feeding into the actual Democrats of the past, the segregationists of the past. You're helping that. You think that you're preserving something, but you're going to walk in a store and all you're going to see is Little Debbie and the cream of wheat.
Yeah.
Oh wait, is the cream of wheat? Is he black?
It's black.
He's going to be
Quaker
gone.
Oats.
Quaker Oats, but cream of wheat's going to be gone next, huh?
Gone next. Colonel Sanders is still up.
It's just the reason we fight, the reason why they're belittling Fox News for fighting is because they don't want anybody to fight. They just want to let all of this go. They want to just burn the books like the Nazis did, but they're doing it digitally now, and it's very easy to do digitally, like we talked about, changing language on the fly.
Yeah. Well, we talked about in our previous videos the 8 white identities and something else. They put that little disclaimer in there they get you right away to say, well, if you show any anger or
I'm being too white right now.
You become
because,
too defensive.
Yeah.
We expect that from you because you're on the right and you're white.
So Cedric's pointing this out. I want if there's any Asian people out there that watch our show, please leave a comment. I want to know if you're offended by these books. Dr. Seuss actually did some offensive stuff before he wrote children's books, but they were political. They were supposed to invoke or evoke emotions. That's what they did. These weren't. These are just to read silly stories to kids, and now adults are calling them out as being racist because everything's racist, Cedric. Yeah. Everything.
This is the world we live in now, unfortunately.
Sorry, I'm a little worked up on this one because
should be.
This is our childhood.
Yeah, they're taking that away. It's just like they're just getting rid of history, and we're gonna look back on that and say, well, we're gonna have to tell our kids, well, think about it because I can't show you any pictures of it because it's gone.
Yeah, I'll leave you with this thing again from the thing from A Killing Mockingbird. It's supposed to make you feel uncomfortable so that people talk about it.
And to show you that how Dr. Seuss was totally against racism, one of his classic books written in 1961 talks about the Sneetches. And if you don't remember, the characters looked exactly alike except for one distinguishing quality. They had stars on their bellies.
Yeah, like that picture right there. The Sneetches got really quite smart on that day. The day they decided that Sneetches are Sneetches. And no kind of Sneetch is the best on the beaches. That day all the Sneetches forgot about stars and whether they had one or not upon theirs. So, people are people.
Right.
Cedric and I always talk about it. The only differences we have is how much melanin we have in our skin. So, these people that are banning Dr. Seuss, remember this is what he said in this one little parable he had here. Quit judging people. We're all people. Quit judging them by some characteristic like a star on your belly. Yeah. All right, on another note, my son goes to UC San Diego. Their library, Geisel Library, they have a whole, and this is where I first saw his political stuff. It did make me think, in fact, I thought, oh, this guy, for all of these people that are liberals, there was nobody more liberal than Dr. Seuss.
Right.
So they're canceling one of their own, which they've been doing now. But I'm wondering now what they're going to do at UC San Diego with a whole library, really cool looking library. Here's what it looks like. And the whole first floor is basically all of his old sketches and all of his controversial stuff. So that at a school of higher learning, that's what you do. You talk about it. Are they going to cancel it because they're going to join that woke thing?
I hope not.
That's what's happening, though.
Yeah. It's UC San Diego, also the place where they have the Che Guevara Center?
They do. They have the Che Guevara Cafe.
Yeah.
So, anyway. I hope one of these universities starts standing up and actually stands for liberal principles, which means you talk about things, you don't shut them down.
Yeah.
So.
Well, unfortunately, all these universities, they get their financial backing from people who lean to the left. So whoever pays the most money, we'll put your agenda out there.
Yeah. Scary, though. Real scary.
Well, anything else you want to add there? Or should we...
No, I want to do a comment.
Okay.
So we got a few comments like this, so we're just going to pick one of them right here. We had many of these with the Tom McDonald videos.
Very similar.
So this is a nice short one because we're going to respond to it. This is by Archaic Skids. Thanks Thanks for watching. We appreciate it right off the bat. But he says, you obviously were not reacting. You had already heard the song, and you're not transparent. As Cedric said, we're not a reaction channel. If you watch our other content, we wanted to review these songs because we felt the lyrics are pretty powerful.
Right.
All right? We're not pretending. If all this archaic skiz, if you're watching the other reaction channels and you think they haven't watched it before, I don't know what to say. They've all watched it. They just do this, this fake, oh my gosh, but they've all reviewed it. They've all seen the song before. That's why they're reviewing it or reacting to it. So we are transparent. We say right off the bat, we're not a reaction channel. In fact, I had the lyrics in front of me, so you know that I had the lyrics.
Right.
Anyways, so we're not a reaction channel. So anybody out there who sees our reactions, our reviews of Tom MacDonald or any other song, just know we're not trying to fake a reaction. We're reviewing the song, we're going over the lyrics, and we're giving our perspective.
Some lady, I know we can't find that quote right now, but some lady had a really nice comment. She said, I know you guys aren't a reaction channel, but Tom's words are so important right now. The fact that you're reviewing them, yes. I think that's incredible as well.
Yeah.
So anybody says like Cedric and Brian is not a reaction channel, yes, you've caught us again.
And we say that at the beginning. So, but I thank you, Archaic Skiz. If you do like the content, because we have the people on there that said, well, I can tell you weren't reacting, but I like what you said. Well, good. You get the point. You get what we're doing. We're not a reaction channel.
Right. Okay. Hope you guys enjoyed this about Dr. Seuss. Keep reading those books to your children. They're a part of your childhood. They're a part of our history.
And fight.
Don't let go of that. Yeah.
Fight.
Definitely.
Don't let the left pigeonhole you and say, oh, there's more important things to fight about. You can do more than one thing at a time. You can turn away from this $1.4 trillion, isn't that what it was?
1.9, yeah.
$1.9 trillion, which is mainly to special interests. Most of it doesn't even go to the people who need it. And you can fight for things like Dr. Seuss. Whether you like his books or not, it's part of individuality and free speech and liberty.
Yeah,
and we're losing it every day. They chip away a little bit more.
Yeah, because changing the face of the $20 bill, that was important. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you ring that bell, and make sure you share our videos with everyone you know. Until next time, I'm Cedric.
And I'm Brian.